Well, why don't we just start all over again? Okay, why don't we just start it all over again? Why don't you just tell them the name of the movie that you're trying to show? Anyway, you guys, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here with us this evening. Amy Duran and Maureen Olson. We did have a little bit of a change tonight. And what we are doing is Ronnie, our brother, is joining us so that we can talk a little bit about the upcoming Sabbath and the importance of knowing what time it is. It's a very casual conversation, which is the reason why I brought my supper. So, if you guys have your supper, you can go get it. You can go. We'll be here, and come on back and bring it because I've got my smothered potatoes and my red snapper, and I'm gonna eat. Yes, I am. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna eat it. Anyway, Ronnie Mann, welcome, welcome for our casual conversation. How are you, kind sir?
I'm well. I'm well. Oh, is it? Am I really loud here? Let me see what I can do. Pardon me. Well, I guess I'm a little too well, huh? Is this better?
Let me turn my stuff down.
No, no,
Hey,
don't
Black
talk.
Spring.
Don't mess yours up. That's on me. That's
Well,
on
are
me.
we 5 by 5? William, Amy, Black Spring, are we 5 by 5? Maureen, tell us how we are now because on my end it was really wah wah wah. But
Pardon me.
nonetheless, hey Rachel, hey hey.
Pardon
So
me.
it's good to see you.
Can you hear me well?
I hear you well now. It
Okay,
was
I
just a little loud
apologize.
earlier.
I was
Nah, it's
hot.
all good. It was hot. Make it hotter, hotter. So listen, you guys. You know what we were talking about tonight, but if you guys want to, you can join me tomorrow morning. When my brother says, "Hey, I have a message from Yah, some things that we need to be up on because the time is winding short and the window is getting really, really teeny tiny." Hey, you know what? We can talk about that stuff tomorrow because guess what? This world ain't changing no time soon, at least not for the better. And so that information that we're going to be talking about is a clutch, as Ronnie says. It is clutch. It's definitely something we need to talk about. However, this, we need to get him while he's available. So, brother, while you chat with everybody, I'm going to go to my avatar and I'm going to stick this deliciousness in my mouth. So I looked for an email, didn't see one. Stick everything that you need if you're not going to do it on your end over in the private chat. Marty Lauderdale, pretty lady, Sharon Marie, how's it going? We do see you, William Craig. We can't miss you, my brother.
I
Hello
sent
to
you a
everybody.
reply. I sent you a reply in the email that you
Now I
sent me.
read that. But I
I
didn't see
got you.
anything else.
Okay, no, that was it. That was it.
Okay, well let's go.
All
Let's
right.
go. Avatar in it. Avatar in it.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, like Matthew talks about who is the faithful and wise servant that is going to give my people their food in due season, and that was a super paraphrase, but nonetheless, you get the idea. Like who's going to be the faithful and wise servant
Yeah.
that is going to give his people the food in due season? That means you have to know Yah's will. You have to know what time it is,
Come on.
and when you know what time it is, you have to be able to give the word accordingly. There's also a place where it talks about giving, having a word in due season and or in season and out of
Mm-hmm.
season. Like you
Mm-hmm.
always have to have the right food to give Yah's people, and where does that come from? That actually comes from David in the Psalm where he's asking the same thing. Who's going to be the servant that is obedient to do his will? And it is important that, I mean, if you don't do it, who's going to do it?
I wrote a song like
Somebody
that.
has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You It should be you. If you profess that believe in you have to do the work of your father. And so why am I saying all this? Because Passover is coming. Passover is right around the corner. And what is Passover? For those of us who don't know, or even for those of us who do know, um, super paraphrase again. This is something that this is an event that occurred where death passes over Yah's people, and we are commanded to observe and commemorate in memorial this every single year and pass it down generation upon generation to our children and children's children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is vital. I'm going to say it again. This is when death passes over Yah's people,
Hmm.
and you know, uh, the plagues and death to the firstborn sons of the whole entire world, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
except for it does not touch Yah's people because of certain guidelines that they implemented. Yah gave instructions. You're going to do this, you're going to do this, and you're going to do the other. And when you do these things, um, and only if you do these things, death will pass you over. So what are these things? He tells you, and once again, these are things that we have to implement for generations to come, and we're supposed to observe this as a memorial every single year. Why? Because one day this is going to happen again. It's going to be, a facsimile of the thing that already happened. It's going to be the remix, but the remix is going to be, it's going to be times 100, or if you will. It's going to be on a whole other catastrophic level, monumental level. And we have to begin to observe these things. What's interesting is the world religion gives you the counter, and they call it Easter. And Easter coincides with Passover, but it's not the same thing. It's far from the same thing, but we've been entrenched in the Easter bunny, and chocolates and stuff like this, and eggs, and coloring eggs and dyeing eggs, and
Gotta have the peeps. Gotta have the
yeah,
peeps.
and that is irrelevant to what it's it's a farce. It's a mockery of what actually is. um and as far as what the Passover is, and the reason I'm saying this is because what if you've been following along, you know that we are in the 13th biblical month, and we are approaching the new year.
Mm-hmm.
We are approaching the new year. Friday, if you've been following along, you understand that Friday has been the Sabbaths for this month, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, we just came out of the third Sabbath for this biblical month, and Friday coming up, quote unquote Friday coming up, is the fourth Shabbat. There is going to be no more Shabbat. This is the last Sabbath of the year, so let's do it. Let's do it big. Let's. If you haven't
We
been
have a party.
observing, if you haven't been observing these Sabbaths, or taking note of them, make an effort. This is the last one of the year. I mean, let on one accord, let's come together and at least end well. It is important to end well. And so if this is the fourth Sabbath that's coming up,
To
that
finish
lets you know.
strong.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if this is the fourth Sabbath that is coming up, then that means we're approaching the month that Scripture calls Abib,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first biblical month of the year. And what happens in that year? Pardon me. What happens in that month? Passover.
Mm-hmm.
It's the second Sabbath of the month. So as of Friday, we are 3 weeks away from
Wow.
Passover.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting. But what is it? And how can you take part in it? Do you know what time it is? And do you know the importance and the value of knowing what time it is? And are you in Yah's will? Everybody says, thy will be done. This is part of the will of Yah for his people to observe these things, because we have to get in the habit of doing these things, so we're not quote unquote a fish out of water
Mm-hmm.
when the main event occurs. And the main event will occur. It might not happen anytime soon, or it might happen, soon. Uh, Whenever it does happen, we'll be ready.
And that's what I
We'll,
think we all want to. We want to be is
say
ready.
say we don't see this event in our lifetime. It is incumbent upon us to pass this information on to the next generation, because there's an end time generation that is going to do Yah's will to the T. this whole thing is this is a culmination of um major events that is snowballing specifically for the end time generation. Let me just use generic terms or whatever. Do you really think that this end time generation is just going to magically understand what's going on? We're the ones that have to start to instill this information, the truth of the word into the next generation, and the severity of the consequences. If you don't, the consequences literally is weeping and gnashing of teeth, outer darkness. The kingdom is coming. That is the gospel, and that's what I'm here to proclaim. The kingdom is coming. We have to get our act together, and we have to do it now. um is that making sense? I know you're grubbing. I know you're
No, no,
grubbing.
no. I'm listening though. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, yeah. I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense, and it is time for us to really realize that it is the generations that are after us, the same way that it was for us with the generation before us, with what was taught to us. It's imperative for us to do the same thing for those who follow after. Absolutely, it makes sense.
Yeah, so if we're in the frame of mind to grab a whole bunch of chocolate eggs, which is a weird notion in the first place, chocolate eggs. But if that's what if that's where your frame of mind still is, you're steeped in world. We're supposed to come out of the world. You're still steeped in worldisms, and you're playing in the kiddie pool, but the consequences is the big boy pool. And I'm trying to stress the importance of getting our act together and stop straddling the fence. We have to be kingdom minded moving forward. The time is coming. Um, are you going to be ready? So, this is a humbling event at best. I mean, at the least, and it is a life saving and life changing event, and soul saving event. At best. So this is important. But if you want to pull up Exodus 12.
Okay, while I pull out Exodus 12, allow everybody to just take a look at some of the list of bitter herbs to answer the question that you have here. And so I'm going to leave these down below for you in the description. Okay, so that you guys know what the bitter herbs are and what they are not and what they're good for and all that good stuff. So I'm going to leave that down there. Now, do you want to pull up Exodus, or do you want me to pull it up?
Could you,
Sure.
if it's okay?
It's cool.
All right.
Okay, that's the website there, folks. All right, so Exodus and
12, and I just want to emphasize some things
sure.
before we even get into Passover,
Okay.
or as far as getting into Passover, but as far as the ins and outs of how to um, observe Passover.
Sure.
I want to drop something heavy,
Okay.
because
Here
you
you
can't
go.
play with Yah. Like, time for time, the time. Okay, we should have never been playing with Yah in the first place, but the time for playing with Yah is over. It should have never been, but it's clearly over. Like, we have to snap out of. I'll just say it again: the worldisms. And are you for real? Because if you're not for real, the arc is going to close, and you're not going to you know come over into the kingdom. You're going Death will not pass you over. And of course, I'm not by far, I'm clearly saying that it's going to that the main event is going to happen, in 3 weeks. But we have to begin to observe and know how to be pleasing unto Yah. Um, are, I'm not. I can't see the screen. So are you? Are you at Are you at Exodus 12?
I am.
Okay. What version are you reading?
You have up right now King James Version.
Okay. Okay,
Any
good.
specific verse? Because I just started it at verse 1, Ronnie.
Yeah, come down to all the way at the end. I want to make a grand announcement as far as Passover is concerned. And uh, this is the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like, stop playing with it, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
play around, or what have you. If you wanna, uh, if you wanna dabble, then dabble, but don't waste
Don't
your
play.
don't waste your time. Either do it or don't. Um, but it is vital that you do, and it is his desire that you do, because he wants all men to be saved. um and this is the proper protocol. So have you scrolled down to 43?
Yep. I
Okay,
suggest you look at the screen.
I'm sorry, because
You gonna need to look at the screen.
I'm reading, because I'm
Oh
reading.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel you. Okay, cool beans. I got you. I'm here. I got you. I got you.
So at 43, um it says, Yah said unto Masha and Aaron, says, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. If you're a stranger, don't do it. I'm going to say that again. This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're dabbling because you think it's interesting, this isn't for you. This is a lifestyle. This is how you move from here on out. And in actuality, if you partake, you're actually condemning yourself if you are partaking, with the wrong motive, or the wrong, or
You know, it reminds me of what we used to say about communion.
it's
That
absolutely
damnation to yourself.
But see, that's
If you enter in it without understanding, not
that's
honoring the Lord's body. Get to what it was.
right. So that's the usurpation. That's the Roman version, and it's the same concept. And where do you think that they got those ideas? They got them from the concept. And because he's the Passover lamb, so in actuality we're partaking in him, but we're not doing it through the Roman lens of Easter. We're doing it from the Hebraic Yah lens of Passover. This is the proper way. Because we're supposed to go back to our first love. So mind you, no stranger shall eat thereof. It says, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. So you have to be circumcised in your heart. You have to be circumcised in your heart. It's literally saying, be circumcised, literally. But the grand spiritual metaphor is that your heart has to be actually willing to seek his face and be pleasing unto him. Because there's other places that show you, when it's all said and done, we're all going to be circumcised anyway, physically, and that is actually through the purification, the fire, the quote unquote fire. Yahweh Shah says that he baptizes with fire. That's because he's going to burn all the mess out of us, and we're going to come in pristine. Because we've all, been all of our foolishness and all of our sins have been burnt away. Literally, we're going to go through the fire. We're going to pass through the fire. But mind you, our hearts have to be circumcised moving forward. This is literally talking about actually, physically circumcising anybody who is bought for money. And you have to understand all the metaphor that it is speaking on. It says every man's servant that is bought for money. Like, this is actually talking about, like, Yahweh Shah died because of our sins, and he was given as a ransom. So that is the money. That is the quote unquote that he bought us at a price, and that price was blood. and he redeemed his people, but he's saving the nations. And it's saying bought for money, but the metaphor there is, sin has to be sin has to uh, your how is sin held accountable for itself? Through blood. Blood has to be shed. So that is the ransom, if you will. So it says that bought for money, every man's servant, and we're all Yah's servants. Yeah, and then we become sons, but you have to go through the motions to gain that sonship. But you have to come to him as a servant. Even the quote unquote prodigal son, when he came to back to his father's house, he was like, well, his mindset was, I'll be a servant in my father's house. But of course, when he got there, he received the garment, the shoes, and the signet ring, and then he was given his sonship back. But mind you, your mindset and your heart has to come to him as a servant, to do his will, and you have to be about your father's business. It says that in verse 44, every man's servant that is bought for money, after basically they get circumcised, then they can eat and partake of the Passover. It says a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. So a foreigner and a stranger, that's virtually one and the same. You have to be about this life. You got to be about this life. Otherwise, don't play with it. Verse 45 again, a foreigner and a hired servant shall not partake of the Passover, basically. 46, in one house shall it be eaten, and that is metaphorically the house of Yah. That's the house. But as far as literally, you're not supposed to take it out of the house that you eat it in. That's just one of the ordinances.
No to go food.
Yeah, no to go. No, we're not doing that, because death is outside. While this is going on, death is outside, literally destroying the nations. Wow. So don't go outside. Don't go outside. It's literally death that is passing you over. But if you go outside, like, you're safe in the house. You're safe in the house. Don't go outside. And we'll skim over that. This isn't a teaching. This is just a conversation, but we have to be in the right frame of mind, trying to lay down the right mindset. It says, in one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house. So what flesh? We're talking about the Passover lamb, like the meat, the food. Keep it in the house. Don't even bring the food outside of the house. It says, neither shall you break a bone thereof. So these are things that you have to be mindful of. Like, this isn't a party event. This is like Yahushua died because we've gone astray and we've gone a-whoring. So like, this isn't to be cute and to this is a modest moment. This is a very humble moment.
Yeah.
And of course, that's an allusion to neither shall ye break a bone thereof. Yahushua didn't have any of his bones broken, so he's the Passover lamb as well, in those regards. But it says, all the congregation of Yasharah shall keep it. So are you cleaving to Yasharah? If you are Yasharah, then you are commanded to keep this, the ordinances of the Passover. And if you are cleaving to Yasharah, then you are no longer a stranger or a foreigner, but you are now part of the house of Yasharah. And since you are eating and partaking, and you have circumcised, and you have the right mindset and the right heart to do this, then it says, all the congregation of Yasharah shall keep it. It says, when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover of Yah, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. So you're a foreigner, you're a stranger, and you cleave to the house of Yasharal to do his will and to be pleasing in his sight because he's your creator and you've decided to do that, you are literally looked upon as a native born. It's like a conversion, like you're being converted to the house of Yah. Right now we're in the house of Rome. Just just keeping it real. We're in the house of Rome in all of our ways. In our traditions of man, it's all Roman. It's all you can even say Greco. It's Greco-Roman, but it's Roman. It's Babylon. But mind you, you are looked upon as a native born. It says, "For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourns among you." One law. One law. It's not like, well, that's for the Jews, or I'm a Christian, so we don't do it like that. Verse 49 is vital, is clutch information. One law shall be to him that is native born, and unto the stranger that sojourns with Yasharal. One law. One law. So please understand that. Thus did all the children of Yasharal as Yah commanded Masha and Aaron. So did they. That's what they did. And it
So
came to
both
pass.
So Gentile and Yasharal get the same deal. That want to
Right,
cleave with
right,
Yasharal.
right.
Okay,
But this is the thing. Once you cross over, because in actuality, the word Hebrew means to cross over. So once you cross over,
correct.
Abarath, Abar, the word Abar, Abaru, Hebrew, Ha-Abar, Hebrew, it literally means to cross over or cross over.
That reminds me of Nibiru. Go ahead.
Oh man, see, there you go. Um,
What? I know
that's interesting.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah, but staying on task, because that's a rabbit hole. Uh, but
Hey.
one law shall be to him, to the Gentile and to the native born. One law. Yeah. So the thing is, yeah, you're a Gentile, but once you do Yah's will and decide to live a life that is pleasing unto Him in word and in deed, then you actually become quote unquote homeborn. It's like the grafting in. And verse 49 lets you know plainly one law. So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, and I hope people are following along because this is vital information. And I hope that we're enjoying this.
I know I am, and I know everybody else is as well. Hey, Leaf Desi. Hey, how's it going? Go ahead. What verse you want to go to another chapter altogether? Are you cool here?
No, we can sit on Exodus 12 for a while.
Okay,
But I
everybody,
wanted
we're gonna
to
potsy it right here. We're gonna potsy right here.
but I did want to let go down to the bottom, like this isn't to be played with. This is, if this isn't for you, don't play with it, because like you have to be in the right frame of mind and the right headspace to be able to progress in this. And this death is going to pass you over, literally, and your generations to come. So but we can talk about the ins and outs, but like I'll just tell you real quick, we keep it very simple. We keep it very simple. Now there's a Passover Seder. There's a Seder where there's specific things, but that's Judaism. And I'm not speaking on Judaism. I'm speaking on the word of Yah and what he tells us to do, not the traditions of man. So, there's a whole entire process that the quote unquote Jews do that is not scripture. There's pieces of scripture in it, but that's all tradition and stuff. Passover actually is not stuff laden. It is very specific, and it's actually quite plain. Yeah. Oh, it's very purposeful, but it's quite plain. So we keep it very simple. In our household, we just grab some parsley and eat some parsley.
Yeah, I saw your plate last year, your place settings last year. Yeah, no, I don't think so. It was uber gorgeous, and
Um,
it took some time. I know my sister put some time in that spread, Ronnie Man, and then you was
well,
out there with the lamb.
the presentation,
It was on point.
Sonya can't help herself. She loves, the presentation is everything to her. But the spread, yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, you know, uh, shy away from the fact that my table would be it'd be looking nice now. But at the
Yeah,
same
we
time, the
actually have your
simplicity.
table as one of our thumbnails. I mean, come on, man. Come on,
But
man.
the ingredient, like what's there, like we're not. This is not a gourmet meal. This is not some. This is something that is. It's a humbling experience. Like Yahweh Shah is the Son of Man. He's the King of King. He's the man.
Well,
And
listen, I want to say this because I love it when you're teaching us, but we need. I'm gonna have another lady. This time I'm calling the lady, and I'm gonna have her come too. But I would love to have your beautiful wife join us because we ladies need to chat. We need to know everything that's everything and what's going on. Now, one of the ladies that I'm thinking about, well, asking to come on, she is an older woman and she's been rocking this for a while. So I want to invite her to come, and I'd like to see if Sonia can come. And I'll give you guys a date, but it'll be long before Passover, and it'll be closer to today than then.
well, I'm letting you know right here and right now that we cannot allow ourselves to start to drop all of the traditions of man as far as what Rome has given us, and then go and do the traditions of man in a whole other, religion, in a whole other mindset.
Well,
It's
it's a
like
belief system. Yeah, a
Judaism,
relationship. Yeah,
like
we're not in that.
so
We're
we're
not in
not
that.
going to drop one tradition of man to pick up another tradition of man. The idea here is to let go of all of the traditions of men, period, and do go back to the basics, what Yah has told us to do, and find peace and find life in His Word, and be able to pass on this truth, this life changing, life saving, life altering truth to our generations to come. But yeah, let's just read. Go up to the top of Exodus 12. The spread isn't the spread is basic. The presentation, Sonya can't help herself. She loves presentation. But
And that's why we ladies are going to go ahead and take control over this piece of the conversation. We're going to have ladies come and talk to us because, ladies, we don't want anything for any time, no matter what it is, to have our name attached to something and it's not looking good.
See. I want to stop that.
Good.
I want to stop that thought in its tracks.
That's how we ladies
Your name
are.
isn't attached to this. Yah's name is attached to this.
Right, and so therefore, it's got to be the best. Listen, we were the people who were going all out. You see everybody in this chat? When we were doing Christmas, we was doing Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that we're switching out one thing for another, but I'm saying if we went all in then, okay, Marty, if we went all in then and we were in error, guess how much more we need to do this thing right. And we know that we're following His will and His word. And so, yeah, it's time for us to really do this because you cannot pass down a half tale something. You got to know what you're doing so that when you do pass it down, those who are left behind you, they do it right. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So, yeah, we ladies, don't worry. We got this. We gonna do this.
but check this out, though. I'm not saying that traditions are, evil or anything. You should if we're gonna drop all these Romanisms or what have you, then yeah, it's fine to establish traditions for your family moving forward, but don't let that be so staunch that we have to do it this way. The only way that it has to be done is how Yah has prescribed these things to be done. But yeah, definitely, take this and own this.
Yeah, because aesthetics is everything at Ronnie Mann for we women.
But the aesthetics, in all honesty, really save that emotion and that energy for the Feast of Tabernacles. Go all out for the Feast of Tabernacles. With this is very somber. This is very somber, so keep that in mind.
Ronnie,
No,
we
listen to what I'm
appreciate
saying.
that.
Keep that in
But we
mind.
remember your table, dude. You can't say that with that
Keep
table.
that in mind. But seriously, I'm not saying, somber means bland, but it actually does mean bland, because look, you're not
But less is always more, and if you're doing it right. I mean, last year you guys had the shofar. I remember Mama Bear, Papa Bear, her husband had done his thing, got his shofar. The homegirl had her table set. She had everything done. And yeah, we're gonna do this. But again, that's just lady stuff. So I'm gonna back out of this and leave you to do this. And we ladies, we already know what we gonna do. So
look, Exodus 12.
Yes,
I'm going to
come
start
on with
in verse
Come
2.
on. Yes.
This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. So we already understand that we are approaching the first of the first month of the year. It says, it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak unto all the congregation of Yasharal, saying, check this out. These are nuances that a lot of people overlook. Saying what? Verse 3. In the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. If the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor unto his house, next unto his house, take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. So this is the thing. It's very pragmatic. It's very practical. It's not this huge feast. You're going to eat what you can eat, and only you're not going overboard with it. And this is the thing. It tells you on the 10th day of the month you are to choose your lamb. And so what do they do? Historically, they actually went out among the flocks and snatched up a lamb or whatever on the 10th day, and they took care of it for the next 4 days, and they slaughtered it the evening of the 14th. But not everybody. If you have capability to do that, that's awesome. But there's it has to be without blemish, and all of these things. But I don't have those capabilities. Like we go to somewhere and get something that is grass fed, organic, quote unquote organic, and as best as we know, and we get something. But this is the thing, the scriptures tell, and we have to do these things. We're still in our captivity. We're not in the kingdom, so it's not going to be accurate into the T, but you have to at least know what is accurate and act accordingly as best as we possibly can, with the information that is available, and with the substance that is available. And it says, on the 10th day of this month you shall take to them every man a lamb. So what we do is, on the 10th day we go to the store and get the lamb on the 10th day of the month. So you have to know when the first day of it is. Okay, Friday coming up is the 4th. So let's pause for a moment. So everybody can be on the same page time wise. Friday coming up is the last Sabbath of the year, which is the 29th day of the month, of the biblical month. So that's Friday coming up, 4 days from now. That evening, you're going to look up at the sky to see if you see the first sliver of the moon. I'm thinking that we're not going to see it. We won't know until we actually get there. But I'm thinking that we're not going to see it. So that means, but collectively, because we have to be on the same page moving forward, let's all make a valiant effort to, on Friday, look up. They tell you don't look up, but Yah wants us to look up. if we see the sliver, that means that Saturday is the first day of the year. I'm thinking most likely we're not going to see the sliver of the moon. We're not going to see it until Saturday evening, which hypothetically what I'm thinking is that Saturday is going to be the 30th day of the month, which is going to Saturday will be the last day of the year, putting Sunday as the first day of the year, the first day of the month, first day of the year. So Sunday will be New Moon Day, and this is what I'm thinking, because we may see the sliver that Friday evening. But everybody, let's be on one accord to see if we see it, and give us a heads up, because if we see it, if somebody sees it, then that means it's able to be seen, and we have to be on the same page, because these days are specific. It tells us the 10th day, the 14th day, the 15th day. So we have to know what day to start. In my mind's eye, I'm thinking that Sunday will be day one of the year, this Sunday coming up. Mind you, that means Sunday will be New Moon Day, potentially. And then,
I like that, potentially.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we need to. I want to make a disclaimer here, and I really want to make this, and I need to drive this way home. You have to look in the sky for yourself. Please do not believe us. We're getting second and third account witnesses so that we, okay, so that we are accurate in what we're saying. But mistakes can happen. Technology sometimes can allow us to be a little more leaned toward them. I'm not saying that's always the case. I'm using that as an example. So we need to make sure that we are walking outside and we are looking at the sky. Rachel Van Zyl looks at the sky. I look at the sky. Ronnie looks at the sky. We all look at the sky. However, we each have to make sure that if you got a little one, a grandchild with you, a child, take them out with you and show them what you're talking about. Okay? Again, we're passing this down, right? But I want everybody to make themselves a committee of one. And remember that you are responsible for looking. Okay? Look and write it down if you have to. And then, text or email somebody like myself or, Rachel, whomever it is that that you can trust. Text, consult one another. We'll put it on the community tab if I'm not like overly drenched, busy. But it will be on the community tab. As you can see, last month we made a correction. So we need everybody to do it, make yourself a committee of one and just make sure you get in the habit of knowing what it looks like. Because as you guys know, some days there'll be a whole lot of cloud cover in some areas and none in others. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, that's very important. And if you have to correct yourself, the sooner the better. Well, we've already started doing it, so we might as well just finish out wrong.
We've arrived on Thursday. It's Thursday for everybody. Festivus for the rest of us.
But you might start out wrong as long as you finish well. Like switch it up. If you realize, oh man, we're in error, collectively, let's get on the right page, because it is most vital to bend to the truth. Don't be so arrogant and so pompous and well, no, this is what it is. Sometimes we have to admit, no, man, we're off, and we have to readjust and recalculate so our trajectory can be spot on when it's all said and done. But hypothetically, if we don't see the sliver of the moon for this Friday evening, that means Saturday is going to be the 30th day of the month, which there can't be a 31st day. That's a Roman concept. There's no such thing as a 31st day of the month. So if Saturday is the 30th day of the month, that automatically puts Sunday, quote unquote, what Sunday is, automatically puts that as the first day, as New Moon Day. So observing Friday evening is going to be vital to make sure that we're all on the same page. Mm-hmm. and let us know. And because I'm going to be a voice, I'm going to say, nope, I didn't see it. And if anybody can concur, then concur. But if anyone, says, nah, I saw it, then there has to be 2 or 3 witnesses that says that they saw it or did not see it. Because
I think that's great. I think that's great accountability. I think that's awesome.
It
Because
takes 2 or 3. It takes
stuff
2 or 3 people
so
to
much.
establish a thing. I mean, it takes 2 or 3 witnesses to establish the thing. So if you don't have it,
Whole assembly line. It's like an assembly line.
It is great accountability. It is great accountability, though. Pardon me, super tongue tie. But yeah, so that puts us say it's Sunday, is day 1. So verse 3 tells you on the 10th day, go out and choose a lamb. So I can't, I don't have the ability to actually go out and choose a lamb, and it's just me and my wife. So if we choose, we can't eat a whole lamb. So we just get a couple of cuts of lamb, and and I'm sure we're doing it wrong because how do we know that lamb that we purchased was without blemish, without spot? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
how
and
do
if
we
you're in an area, how's it fresh?
And well, we make sure that we get as fresh as possible. We go to the we go to the
I went to the meat market and I bought a bunch of lamb. But guess where it is right now?
what in the what
You got it, buddy.
in the freezer.
I found
But
it at a great deal, and it's in the freezer.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing. It's called the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's a whole entire week. So we're talking about Passover. That's the evening of the 14th. But there's a whole entire festival afterwards. There's the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is an entire week. And every day you're supposed to be eating some lamb or some bitter herbs, and you're supposed to have unleavened bread with every single meal, every single day. No leavening is to be on your premise. Nowhere on your premises leavening. And that's, of course, a metaphor for sin, but it's literal as well.
Well, I want to say hey to Inger Norman, who joined us with 2 Corinthians 13:1. This is the third time I am coming to you. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. Hallelujah. Sharon Marie says, I'll be looking up. And Anthony Van Zandt says, evening, Sister Sharon. Now, Rachel Van Ziel, the kosher butcher, who is he offering that up to?
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, because we're not literally in the kingdom, and the high priest Yahweh Shah himself is, conducting the event, it's virtually impossible to get this thing right. It's just you have to strive, So
and she's striving to get the best cut that she can.
Right.
That's exactly right. That's
right.
right.
So how do you know? Because look, verse 5, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. How do you know that you bought a male lamb in the first place? I mean, unless you actually go out and purchase a lamb on the 10th day and then slaughter it on the 14th day. How do you know these things? So we're gonna be amiss. But what I'm getting at is we perish for lack of knowledge. So the first and foremost, we have to know what the deal is. And then after that, he's going to give us allowance because we're still in our captivity. We're not going to get it right. It's impossible. The system is, quote unquote, the system is rigged that we won't get it right. It's designed. It's designed that way in a lot of senses for Yah's people we're just not going to get it right. But that's not the point. The point is to begin.
We're practicing this.
Right. Exactly. To begin to know the nuances and know how to play our position. So when the time comes, we already have established, the method, not a method, but the method. And then he'll facilitate the rest. But, so I'm just telling you what we do. We go on the 10th and we go to the butcher and we get a couple of cuts of lamb, specifically for the evening of the 14th. Now, if you have some lamb in your freezer, do do not eat that on the 14th day. Do not do not eat that. Eat that for the feast of unleavened bread, for the 7 days afterwards, because this tells you to eat the lamb that you pick out on the 10th day of the month. You think I'm nitpicking, but this is what the word prescribes, and everything has a reason. And I'm not getting into the reasons. And as you progress and start,
No, get into the
seeing these
reasons,
things,
because today is the
well,
day.
I'm saying because there's so many nuances. Like if you look at just do a basic word search as far as the 10th day.
What does the 10th day mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it's the mirror image. It's the invert of the 10th day of the 7th month, which is the Day of Atonement. The 10th day of the 7th month is the Day of Atonement. Right here, we're talking about the 10th day of the 1st month, and it goes unnoticed. People really don't look at verse 3 and do this specific, observe this specific ordinance concerning the Sabbath. They miss this. They miss this, and this is actually vital information. It is the identical. It's the mirror of the 10th day of the 7th month, which is the Day of Atonements. And so you're choosing your lamb, and your lamb has to be Yahweh Shah. And they're telling you to choose your lamb on the 10th day of the month. And like I said, it's the mirror image of the Day of Atonements, which is the 10th day of the 7th month. It's to the day 6 months apart, and that's the Feast of Tabernacles. So what you're doing is 6 months ago at the beginning of Passover, you're starting the entire sequence, the entire feast sequence with Yahweh Shah, and then you end it out on the 10th day of the 7th month at the Day of Atonements with Yahweh Shah again. And then you're able to partake in the wedding feast, which is the Feast of Tabernacles. And this is important information, but this is the thing. You'll start to notice these nuances once you begin to observe Yah's feasts. I didn't know this coming in, but by observing his feasts, I start noticing like, wow, these things go together, and you become wise in Yah's will and Yah's way, because you're actually literally doing what he told you to do. And a lot of people miss this. This is what I just said is actually fascinating, and it should be like a wow moment to us. Like the 10th day is vital, and if you see a lot of people that do it, that observe Passover, they don't emphasize this portion. And in our household, we emphasize this portion because we understand the significance of it, and I'm stressing the importance of the significance of it to you, so you can see, the importance of the nuance, the 10th day of the month. Without going into scripture and verse and finding all of the 10th day portions of scripture, you get an idea of what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And I just want everybody to know that, we're practicing, we're learning. And so you're not always going to get it. It's not always going to be something that you what you're striving to do is the right thing. And so if you've, oopsed it or whatever, don't feel bad, pick yourself up and keep going.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And
no
that's
condemnation, just keep going, keep trying. You'll get it. You'll get it.
That's what you said. Like, hey, this was a goof, or this was a hiccup. But yeah, let's just readjust, recalculate, and move forward. And that's all it is to it. The error is when you don't adjust and don't recalculate and don't move forward, and you continue in your error. That's where you're off. We're always gonna be a miss.
Absolutely. Well, It's been a 55-minute talk, and I am so glad that you were here with us today. When do you think we can hear from you again before we get going here? Because I think we need to do this at least a few more times, as much as we can up until
Well,
that time.
well,
I know
if
your
we're
schedule is, hectic.
if we're ending now, we're gonna have to do this a few more times because um, I haven't even began to
Yikes,
discuss it.
Ronnie man.
Yeah.
Ronnie, Melvin Thomas Jr. says if we don't follow the details in the scripture, it won't be long before we're coloring eggs and stuff. Stay close as you can as we learn. Absolutely, and
Because that's what
that is the
happened.
most important thing. Yeah, that's the, and I think you're right. They're absolutely right. That is what happened. So what we can do possibly, Ronnie, is we can more than likely come back together, you and I, and just record as we need to, and then upload from there. But I have really, I really
Okay.
do. I know what I want to do is I probably speak for a lot of other people. I think that because it's so new to a lot of folks, hey, Marty, you're back. We're glad you are. I think because a lot of times things are so new to people, they really feel a little challenged or they feel like they're not going to get this right. And so, yeah, sometimes people may, just conveniently, and I say convenient with a very loose tongue, slip back into what they know. But what I want to assure everybody is that you cannot go wrong if you just pull up the scriptures that you see and you just start to study them for yourself. And like Ronnie suggested, do a word search and a word study just to get it. Look at the times, look at the feast days, study them, figure all about what you're going to need before you get there. And remember the major key points. The first thing that sticks out to me is the whole leaven thing. And because it represents sin, you want to make sure you get all of that out of the house. Literally all of it out of the house. Now, here is the thing, Ronnie, because I'm going to play devil's advocate wherever I can. A lot of people are going to say, man, right now, food is so scarce. And to some households, some people don't have it. Because we know we're practicing, what are we doing with that food? Where is the cornmeal or the flour that has the leaven in it? Because I know some families, we stopped buying it. But what about the people who have it? We don't want to, what do we say?
Well, what's more important at this juncture? What's more important? Obeying Yah at all costs, or holding something a little bit more important than what Yah has said,
So we're not
and
keeping it in the house,
and
right?
paying the
So
consequence.
yeah, fixed income, person lost 2 jobs, whatever. They're trying this. Where are they putting that? Are they putting that someplace else? Are they, storing it somewhere? They're of course not going to throw it in the garbage can,
Give
or
it to
what is it
somebody
they're
who is
doing?
not circumcised. Give it to one of the nations. Give it
And
to
then
one
let
of the
them give it back to you
Gentiles.
when it's done.
No,
No?
get rid of it. Why?
Get rid of it?
Because listen. It's the equivalent of the metaphor of letting somebody hold. Well, can you hold this sin for me in the meantime while I, pretend like I'm getting right and throwing stuff away? And as soon as death passes over, can you give me back my sin?
So we understand that. So what if somebody's saying, yeah, look, you know what? I get food stamps and I only had X amount of food and I'm going to do this for this time period. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stuff and I'm going to put it in some clear plastic containers. I'm going to put it out in the shed and, for those, 10 days or whatever,
Okay.
we're not going to
Okay.
tamper
So
with
check
it. So
this
how do
out.
we answer that person?
I answered it already. If you scroll down to verse 43, it says, "This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof." If you're more concerned about that, you are a stranger. Don't even partake in this event. This is serious.
You guys see it? It's there on the screen. We've highlighted it there. Exodus 12:43.
If that's where your mindset is, then you're not about this life, and don't. Okay, I'll say it this way: don't partake in this event this go round, but be mindful that you need to get your house in order and pray and hope that you have an opportunity to be able to move forward in doing this the next go round. I'll say that. However, that is assuming that you have some time. That is a very arrogant mindset. We do not know the future. We
That's
don't know.
right. As much
So
as people like to
so
act like they do,
stop
that's right.
what you're doing right now. This is Yahweh Shai. This is what Yahweh Shai tells everybody that he encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me.
Hmm.
And he didn't say, all right, go ahead and do what you got to do, and then come around when you get a chance and follow me. He said, drop everything you're doing and come follow me. And then when he heals you, which is the equivalent, I'll just use the concept of pardon me, death passing us over. Let's use that as a healing. Let's use that as the concept of being healed. When he heals you, he says, go and sin no more. So there's an if then paradigm. It's like he's not just doing this just to do it. Like, he's doing this and you have to do your part afterwards.
Absolutely.
So, to the person who, I definitely understand that concept and that
Yeah, and that's why I
that
posted, because there's
situation.
somebody who's going to watch this and they're going to have that mindset, because I understand what people are going through. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to
And
say,
that
hey,
means you're not willing. You're at this point in time, you have to be honest with yourself. You are not willing to let go of everything and you're not willing to put your entire trust in Yah that he will provide. And you're
rich.
in a delusion. You're in a delusion thinking that, oh yeah, I trust him. But if you really trusted him, listen, Yah's people do his will. And when the drought comes, they don't even realize that there's a drought.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Charlie. That's
How do you not
right.
realize that there's a drought?
Because your eyes are on him.
Because he's providing for you the entire time. That is literally Jeremiah 17. The whole crux of Jeremiah 17 is, follow me and do what I told you to do. And when the drought comes, when devastation comes, when destruction comes, you won't even know. You won't be the wiser. You won't know about it.
Come on now.
But if you keep on, see, this is the thing. We think our sustenance is what's in the cupboard. Yah is our sustenance. Really, really, he really is. You're not giving him the credit that he deserves. You're not giving him the esteem that is his. You're giving it to Betty Crocker. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If that's your mindset,
you're telling the truth right now.
but listen, if that's your mindset, just pray that Yah allows you the next go round. And you're not ready for this. But if you are ready for this, I'm speaking to you, and the set apart spirit is speaking to you, and we must do this. This is a command to do this. I'll leave it
and
at
then
that.
Get in the habit of not buying it again if you can help it. Just get in the habit of making sure when you get something that it doesn't say self-rising, or that it doesn't say any of those things, and it'll work out. It'll all work out. Ronnie, thank you.
Okay, well, let me say this.
Yes, sir.
Exodus 12, read it. Don't skim through it. Read it and
no shana na.
Yeah. No, don't shana na the script. Like, read it and don't gloss over it. Actually read. Take notice of the words that you're reading. And we'll touch upon this more so before we actually come to this event, so everybody's on as much on the same page as possible.
Can we meet on Sabbath? Can you come on Sabbath and teach some more?
Yeah, let's do it.
It would be awesome.
Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, you guys.
But
Friday, listen, we'll announce the time. Go ahead.
In the interim, Exodus 12.
Okay.
Leviticus 23.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 16.
Okay, let's say it again.
Exodus 12.
I want one of the Marty and Rachel, please type these in for us. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Exodus 12,
Okay.
Leviticus 23,
Okay.
and Deuteronomy 16.
Okay, that's our
Um,
homework.
yes, definitely. And there's more places, but let's grasp the concepts. Just, I mean, if you venture off, great, definitely do so. But these are three
Repeat them
places
again.
where you
Repeat
can
them
find
again.
Exodus 12, Leviticus 23, and Deuteronomy 16. Now, at this juncture, we're specifically honing in on Passover. So you can read, everything, all of the context, but really, really focus on Passover so we can get an idea of what we are to do. Forgive me, pardon me. So we can get an idea of what we are to do specifically for Passover. Exodus 12, Leviticus 23, and Deuteronomy 16.
Okay, we got you. Exodus 12, Leviticus 23, and Deuteronomy 16. Thank
Yes,
you, Rachel, and thank you, Marty Lauderdale, and thank you guys so much for being here with us this evening. I'm so glad that you guys were able to, come on in and hang out and listen to me smack my supper. Um, listen to me smack on my supper and talk to all of you guys. It's been a blessing to be here with you. Ronnie, we appreciate you so very much, kind sir, for being here with us. And we just want to thank you. And I know that on Friday, everyone is going to be even more enriched with this word. We're going to go ahead and sit down and we'll go on ahead and figure out what time on Friday that we're going to meet. But I think that's wonderful to just keep doing this all the way up until the time, until it becomes like a muscle that we know how to work. Listen, everybody, I want to thank you so very much for being with us this evening. And I want to remind you of what we always say here on any of the Police Yellow Cart Group publications, besides the fact that my lipstick is gone because, well, supper was good. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every single word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High Yah. You guys continue to take care of yourselves first. That's the first thing. Take care of you, and then take care of everybody else. And until we see each other again, please continue to be blessed. Y'all take care. Black perspective.